Hi there, Matt from Three Skulls Tavern here, and I'm here to do a new type of video on my channel, and this is a short review of Twilight 2000's Urban Operations expansion. And just very quickly, you might hear that my voice is a little bit scratchy. That's because I've been at Spiel Essen for 4 days talking as I've been selling books on the Free League booth. Therefore, I'm going to be keeping this very short. If you like this new format, let me know in the comments and maybe I'll do more of them. Anyway, let's jump straight into it. So the first thing I want to talk about are caveats, and that's basically just that this PDF has just gone live on the 6th of October, which is about a week ago at the time of recording. That means it's the first release of this. There might be some tweaks before it actually gets printed and is finished. I've bought this with my own money, so this is not a review copy. My opinions are my own. Okay, let's talk about contents. Now, this is going to be a box set. Inside the box are going to be a 96-page book. I assume it will be a softback book like the core books in the main core box set. In addition, there are a bunch of maps. I'll go over those in a bit, but basically just look over here and you'll see a list of everything that you get in there in terms of maps. You also get a bunch of new tokens, including sandbags and debris, which are kind of new. And in fact, a lot of these tokens do look quite new to me. And you get 16 encounter cards that replace the 16 that they are of from the core deck. So you're expected to take out the corresponding 16 from the core deck and replace them with these urban-specific ones. Okay, so what about my thoughts on the book? Well, I kind of wanted to go through it chapter by chapter. So chapter 1 is about playing in a city. It's, for me, seems quite broad, but good without being, walls of text. There's only 4 pages of text to this chapter, so it's not very big. It's a quick read, and everything's nicely contained within sections, so it's easy to jump around and also to reference later different aspects of playing in a city. The second chapter is about rules, and there are lots of options given in here. I don't want to go into too many details with them, but you've got things like fog of war, movement within cities, how to use buildings within a city, closer combat where you're 4 times zoomed in what the normal battle maps have, using zones instead of hex sectors for this closer combat, and travel within the cities. And really, it's as you would expect from Twilight 2000. It's got some fairly crunchy options in there just to really expand on or replace options in the core book. So if you're a fan already of Twilight 2000, I feel like this isn't a whole lot of extra text or a lot of extra crunch. It's just more options, and some of them, again, are replacing other options from the book. So it just is kind of like tweaking things and making it more urban focused, without necessarily adding a huge amount of extra rules. There are also 2 new archetypes in this chapter, the cop and the criminal, so each getting 1 page of text. Altogether, this chapter has 10 pages of text. That's 8 if you discount the archetypes. So really 8 pages of additional rules that are given there. The third chapter is about encounters, and I think the tweaks are quite good to the current deck. I've only skimmed through them. I haven't really read them in a lot of detail, but what I saw did look like quite nice quiet encounters, and all very specific. There's also advice for how to tweak the existing encounters in the book to suit the factions that are at play within the various cities that you're going to be playing in. There are actually 2 cities. I should have said this earlier: Krakow in Poland and Karlsborg in Sweden. So everything is kind of assuming you're going to be playing in one of these cities, although it does say at the beginning of the book that you can play it in any urban environment. In terms of page count for the encounters, there are 10 pages. However, if you exclude the card content, so you get these 16 cards, all the text of that is repeated in the book. If you're to ignore that, you only have 4 pages of text for the encounter chapter. Chapter 4 is about factions, and in this, it's pretty much as you'd expect to see if you've seen the core rulebook. There are 4 factions. 2 of them are general factions that could plug into either Poland or Sweden. A third is a Polish-only faction, and a 4th is a Swedish-only faction. The Polish and the Swedish factions are local regiments that are operating within their respective countries. And really, they seem okay. I've only kind of briefly skimmed over them. One of them is the World Health Organization, which is kind of, I don't want to say too much without spoiling things, but the World Health Organization is getting involved, and it's kind of interesting. I was expecting to see more militant, groups, rather than something like the World Health Organization. So that kind of made me, kind of surprised me a little bit. But yeah, only 4 pages in total in that chapter as well. So these so far are really short chapters, really easy to breeze through, really easy to read, and that means they're also going to be relatively easy to reference as well, which so far I'm really happy with. The 5th chapter has to do with plots, and this is something new. We didn't see a section on plots or a chapter on plots in the referee's book. We saw these scenario sites, and scenario sites are in here as well. They're just in a later chapter. What plots does is it borrows some elements from the scenario sites, notably countdowns. And these countdowns are really broad. They're basically giving you a variety of plots that are happening within these cities. 5 of them are general. They can take place in either country. 1 is Poland specific, and 1 is Sweden specific. So you're looking at whichever map you're playing in, you're looking at 6 sandboxy plots. And the whole chapter is 10 pages. So you're looking at, seven of these being given, and over 10 pages with artwork. So it's really easy to read through. And this kind of reminds me of quite a bit of Ruins of the Lost Realm for the One Ring 2nd edition, which also had these kind of like big sandboxy campaign plots that it had in one chapter. And really, I really like this a lot. I'm really excited to see that Free League is producing more of this. I'm hoping to see more and more of this as time goes on, rather than having campaigns which are, very linear, adventure after adventure, and plots written out. These are basically things happening in the background that the players interact with or choose not to interact with a countdown of things that are going to happen and when they come to a head. So really, the epitome of campaign-focused, sandbox-focused campaign play, and the fact that there's so many in this book is really, really incredible. I'm really excited to see these. I'm really excited to play this, actually. In fact, even more excited to play an urban campaign because of this chapter more than anything else, than actually the core game where you're kind of wandering around the entire countryside. So 6th chapter is about scenario sites. It is a very big chapter. There are 25 pages in total, and 19 pages if you exclude the variety of maps that you get in there. There are 4 sites in total, and they're basically the same format as in the referee's guide. So you basically have NPCs, you've got countdowns, you've got events, and like background, all that kind of stuff. So these are also like plot points. They have that countdown element to them as well, but they're a little bit more focused, a little bit more scripted in terms of what's going to happen specifically around one specific site. And really, it's another exciting thing for this game. I like that there are so many of them as well, 4 of them, to flesh out the other ones that you get in the referee's guide, which some of them can be plugged into an urban environment as well. So really, it's the biggest chapter in the book by far, and really it's just all playable material. Of those big maps, 2 of them are quite big scenario maps, and the other 2 are these much like more focused no hex maps, which are intended if you do get into fights that they're kind of doing close quarters within these sectors. And the final chapter of the book is actually 2 appendices. One specifically about the 2 cities. There's one about Krakow and there's one about Karlsborg. The Krakow one has 7 pages of text with 2 pages of maps. One map is the city of Krakow. The second map is like a castle, which is like a key location in Krakow. There are 4 NPCs in Krakow as well. Karlsborg has 6 pages of text, also with 2 maps, the city of Karlsborg and another like headquarters type of place. And there are 6 NPCs, technically 7, but one is like a double NPC. So that's quite nice as well. And just like in the, just like some of the other chapters there, we get we get this broken down into nice little segments. You get a bit about the history of each city, the current situation, a bit about the inhabitants, the neighborhoods, the key locations, and then you've got all the NPC stats. So really just a nice little kind of bite-sized view of the city's little history at the end there, and being 6 or 7 pages of text broken down into sections, again, not huge walls of text, makes it really easy to digest and really easy to reference later. So yeah. And that's all I'm going to say about it, really. Overall, I'm extremely impressed with this product. In 96 pages of text, you're getting a lot of gameable material that is very easy to reference. It doesn't feel like there's any wasted, purple prose in here. It's all very much nicely separated into gameable content. It reminds me very much of Ruins of the Lost Elm for the Realm for the One Ring Second Edition, which I've already said, which is a product I really, really love. And I'm really excited to see a similar type of product being displayed here. So if you're a fan of urban warfare in a post-apocalyptic setting, and you're not worried about playing in a setting like that, you and your table aren't worried about playing in a game like that in today's current climate with what's happening over in Ukraine, which is totally understandable if you don't want to be playing that right now, then yeah, I think this is a fantastic role-playing product and highly recommended. 2 big thumbs up from me.